A statement from Buckingham Palace confirming that the Duke of Edinburgh has died.
The husband of Queen Elizabeth, Prince Philip, the Duke of Edinburgh, a longtime fixture of British society, died at the age of 99, just weeks before his 100th birthday. As the Prince of Philip, Duke of Edinburgh, passed away, Queen Elizabeth then declared it. His Royal Highness died peacefully at Windsor Castle this morning. In due course, more information will be in this video, so fasten your seatbelts as we range the possible things that could happen in practice if Prince Philip passes away. But before we proceed, please do me a favor to smash the like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell button for notifications whenever a new video is published. And now, let us get started. People started to wonder what future would bring as news about his health and recent hospitalization surfaced. As a prominent figure in the United Kingdom, his death would be a monumental event about which people have been planning for years. You may have read a secret scheme known as London Bridge is Down, which would occur when Queen Elizabeth passes on. While I say confidential, it is not necessarily the best kept secret since it was a topic to be discussed all over the years. You can be surprised to learn that other royals have bridge proposals of identical names. Taylor Bridge was the name of the activity that planned the assassination, and Menai Bridge was the name of plans relevant to Prince's choices. The one we'll talk about today is Operation Fourth Bridge, which involves the preparations for Prince Philip's death. Before the initiative was even active, the Prince was said to have been heavily involved in its development. When a royal is on his or her deathbed, the public is usually informed by the palace bulletin, just like Queen Victoria and George I. This case, of course, is contingent on the circumstances of his burial. If we never hear anything, we have to wait for the monarch to launch the operation. Since none of the preparation than Operation Fourth Bridge can go into action before the Lord Chamberlain, the Chief of Staff speaks with the Prime Minister on the Queen's orders. And after these sessions, nothing happens until Buckingham Palace officially announces the death. As a result, the royals have a stable grip on the schedule. It is important to note that if the Queen dies before Philip, Monique will supervise the operation. Prince Charles is the most likely candidate. Much of this is supposed to happen soon. If death or announcement occurs overnight, the news will be under wraps until 8 a.m. as the people will be able to get information from the media. Traditionally, the BBC will be the first to be informed and allowed to announce on behalf of the royals. However, in recent years, news from the palace seemed to go to the Press Association rather than the palace. As a result, the news could come from either source. When the announcements are up, you should predict a flurry of press stories about the prince from different sources. Although other big news organizations have been planning for Philip's death and other royals' deaths for years, IDN seems to have been training for years. They hired analysts to talk on their outlets about the prince and the incident. Even from that time, they declared an official announcement. Mourning time will be observed throughout the country before his funeral. The time of mourning extends to other British colonies and political delegates around the globe. For the Crown, today must have been very complicated. There has been a lot of criticism leveled at the press this week regarding such royal matters. Issues aside, the royal family will undoubtedly gather behind the Queen now that she is no longer with her sidekick of 73 years. I heard the Cambridges are on their way back to London from Norfolk, and the sources close to Prince Charles reported that the Prince of Wales paid a visit to his mother today on the Windsor grounds, where she is currently living. The carefully orchestrated procedure begins on the fateful day of his death will swing into service on the Fourth Bridge. If she is not at his bedside, the Queen will know first, followed by family members. The head of the royal household will be the next person in line. The Lord Chamberlain will remind the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. The funeral will take place at St. George's Chapel on the same grounds, and there will be further plans. They will announce in the coming days as changes are made in response to the health global crisis. ITI Canada, on the other hand, as known before his death, Philip assisted in planning his funeral and recommended that he not lie in the state or have a state service. Social gatherings will be cancelled according to the family. Despite being entitled to a state funeral, they will query Mark over pre-arranged official appointments. Before the burial, Prince Philip asked that the people not make a mess about his funeral, preferring a more intimate service. Of course, royal watchers are waiting to see if Prince Harry can come in California to join their family. Meghan's pregnancy would hamper her desire to fly. Prince Harry aspires to go back into his time to his father's funeral at the age of 10. He desires to be there with his loved ones. The news will then be broadcasted to the rest of the world, most likely via the BBC's national broadcast, depending on the time of the day. As a mark of appreciation, the UK and Commonwealth flags will be lowered to half-mast, except for one. This will be all flags. The royal standard has been flying at the royal residences for many years. When the monarch butterfly is alive, it will continue to raise. The flag represented the throne and raised above Buckingham Palace, which is the only flag raised. As a result, it is raised as long as the monarchy exists. The ceremonial maze in the Commons Hall, the two in the Lord's Chamber, which reflect the royal power with which houses reside, would be shrouded in black or have a black bow attached to them. We must think carefully about official business, not only by the central government but also by local government authorities. On top of that, at the British Houses of Parliament of black cloth, we will cover the ceremonial maze. Members of Parliament will either wear black ties or black from the day of his death. This flag symbolizes the monarch's continuity and is only ever lowered when the sovereign passes away. The Queen will be mourning for 8 days. With the current COVID pandemic, it is possible that if the prince died in a few next months, politics would continue to protect the nation. During this time, the royals will play an important part. They will cancel social engagements, but they will continue working on official assignments. They will work in engagement while still coping with the crisis on a personal and family basis. This matter naturally concerns the monarch, who will most likely not be involved in all public affairs, which means multiple things, especially politics. No new legislation will obtain royal assent and become law. This thing is not a set of guidelines for a new set of rules to be followed. If possible, the Queen could keep doing this stuff. During this time, the United Kingdom will then enter 30 days of formal mourning to show respect to the monarch. The entire royal family will gather at Windsor. COVID-19 constraints are a stumbling block for this section of the program. The Duke's death was announced minute by minute. Any member of the House of Windsor we see in the morning will wear black. It is also doubtful that television cameras would be allowed to take footage inside the church. Queen Victoria and Prince Albert are buried at the Frogmore Gardens, where he will lay to rest. I have heard that he will go to whatever length to ensure he attends the funeral, and I guess we now have more details about the funeral. That will remain the case. There was even a rumored family strife surrounding Harry's death. Rumor also includes Meghan's candid interview with Oprah, which aired when Phillip was in the hospital getting treatment. Despite the royal rift stories, Harry and his grandparents remain close. The arc of his and Meghan's relationship, a homage to Prince Philip, was added to the Will website. In February, Harry compared his Zoom calls with his grandparents. Yes, really, and one thing they have learned with the royal family over the years is that when it comes to genuine support, they got told to sit and look into the important thing right now. And they figured out that being together as a family is the only thing that matters most. They got told to realize how important our family is. When the Fort Bridge service is completed, the other members of the royal family will resume their duties. Queen Elizabeth will also resume her duties once Operation Fort Bridge is done. What royal protocol will trigger Prince Philip's death in Canada? Will the line of succession change when Prince Philip dies? What Prince Philip's death meant Harry and William's relationship? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below, and before leaving, do not forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell button for notifications for our future content. With that thing, see you in the next one.